Tom, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing pretty fantastic. It's a day off, so that's a nice thing right there. Just sitting here
Uh, we're
chilling.
we're fully in spring here. The
Yeah,
garden's going. I just got done mowing the lawn.
yeah. Well, it's been kind of dreary around here, but I feel like today was a little bit of a break in the dreary cloudy sky. So hopefully we're heading in that same direction. So yeah,
Indeed, indeed. And speaking about a break in dreary, cloudy skies, we're going to
yeah,
do a classic comedy today. We're going to do the 1992 movie My Cousin Vinny, starring Joe Pesci and Marisa Tomei.
yes. Yep, two great stars, and the actually it's funny too because um, both of these stars almost did not star in it. Um, they were actually considering Robert De Niro for the part of as one of the actors. There were a few of them, but I
Yeah,
really am
they were
glad.
they were considering Jim Belushi as well,
Yeah, yep, I heard that.
which I
And
don't know if anyone could have like. It's funny in retrospect. You say Joe Pesci was Vincent Gambini,
yeah, yeah,
but you don't know if someone else played it. Would we even notice? But
right.
since that didn't happen, Joe Pesci was amazing in this role.
Well, I know there were a couple of other female actresses that were considered besides Marissa, and I'm really happy that they got her. She was perfect as Mona Lisa Vidi. Is that the last name?
Yep, yep,
But
yep.
she was perfect in the role, and that's
Vito,
an Vita.
Mona
Okay,
Lisa Vito.
okay, yep. And the thing of it is, as much as I love Pesci, and he's added a lot to a movie like Goodfellas, Casino. There's been certain roles of his that I truly love, but he also, if let loose, he can be kind of kind of too much. And she was perfect as his foil. I
Hmm.
mean, absolutely perfect. Putting him in his place when he
Hmm.
was too much Joe Pesci, and yeah. So
Before we go on, in
sure,
case like there is any possibility that someone watching this has never seen the movie My Cousin Vinny, which
and you need to.
I find that so improbable that you would be watching us talk about the movie My
Right,
Cousin Vinny without ever having seen the movie My Cousin Vinny.
right.
But all improbability aside, this is a movie that involves two young guys
Yeah,
from, I don't think it's ever explicitly stated if they're from New York or New Jersey,
I think it's New Jersey, but yes,
but
yeah,
one of those states.
these two
They,
gentlemen.
they go down, they're taking a road trip, they find themselves in the deep south,
Yeah,
Alabama. That's where they are,
yeah,
in Alabama, and they stop at a convenience store. They buy road snacks. And after they're back on the road, one of them realizes they put a can of tuna in their pocket without paying for it.
Ralph Macchio. Yeah, yeah,
And moments later, a police car with lights flashing pulls them over.
yeah.
They think they're being pulled over for shoplifting, but it turns out that someone came into that store moments after them and murdered the owner and robbed the store.
Yeah,
And the police now think it's these two. So they
which is
find themselves in Alabama prison on a murder rap, and they don't know what to do. A series of phone calls later, they get their cousin Vinny, played by Joe Pesci, who has just graduated law school, like just graduated,
yeah.
never tried a case in his life.
After six, count them six turns at the bar where he failed. So
He comes down to defend them in a murder trial. Hilarity ensues.
yes, absolutely, it ensues. And there's so many things. I mean, leading up to him coming, um, they are they are so naive. Um, it is the South, and nothing against the South, but there are parts of the South you can get into trouble if you're a Northerner, and and certainly if somebody thinks you're actually on a murder rap. that, you know, obviously, the sheriff is sure they've got the right guys, and they're confessing to doing what he thinks that they're confessing to, but they're actually confessing to, yes, we took the can of tuna. We're really sorry. It was an accident. And yeah, and of course, yes, hilarity does ensue when he gets his cousin down there, because his cousin is Joe Pesci and Joe Pesci's girlfriend, and they are definitely out of place in the South. And this is actually their first stop, and he's looking at the tires on the car, and a guy is trying to tell him, well, if you get mud in the tires, it can make the wheels off balance. And I have never had problems with having mud in the getting into in the wheels, but being in New England, I can say that if you get snow packed in around your tire, around your
Yep.
your rims, it will throw them off, and they'll feel like they're, you know, something's wrong, something's badly wrong. And so yeah, that was the one of the lines that actually, there were a lot of lines that made me bust out laughing. And one of the lines happens right in this scene where he's saying to her, "You stand out like a sore thumb. Can you?" He like, because he's talking about the way she's dressed and the way she looks, and she goes, "Oh, you blend." And her delivery is so damn good in this. I mean, so damn good. It's just amazing. But
You know what really struck me?
what's that?
This movie, that like at the very heart of this movie, is a culture war.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You know, they like uh Vinny, and Mona Lisa,
yeah. Mona Lisa. Yeah,
they come from a very different culture
yeah. New
into
Jersey.
this southern town.
Yeah,
And obviously there's some friction, and it's part of where the comedy comes from.
sure.
And yet, like, I don't know if you would see the culture war be so peacefully resolved in this day and age. Like, this is very much in the 80s, where like, oh yes, we're different, but we can come together.
Right.
And wow, it's such a very different
Yeah, yeah. And it's
feel
something.
these days.
Yeah, it's something I kind of miss because,
Right.
you know, there's always been a difference between the North and the South. So I guess, you know, in certain parts of either place, you could probably get in trouble if you're from one or the other
Oh, I'm
places.
sure.
But at the same time, hey, you know, and I've got a lot of relatives from the South, and I've got naturally relatives from the North because I was raised in the North. But like, I never felt really a lot of hostility when I went to the South. I mean, like I said, I'm sure there's places, and just like in the North, you know, you can get in trouble anywhere in the North too if you go in the wrong places. But yeah, I mean, even I just always felt like there was a little bit of respect for both places. I've always blended pretty darn well.
Actually, one of the neat things about this movie is that there's no bad guy.
No, no,
Like everyone is looking for the truth. They're
yeah,
looking to find out who the murderer
yeah,
was.
yeah. There really isn't. It's you know, the judge, even the judge is an honest judge. He just wants he and of course the judge, we need to say right off, the judge is played by Fred Gwynne, who,
Fred Gwynne, the classic.
yes, I mean, an amazing guy, amazing actor. And of course everyone knows him as Herman Munster, but I mean, he was, you know, he's so much more than that. But I mean, there he is right there, Fred Gwynne.
This
But
was his last film role.
yeah, and that's sad right there too. But an amazing role to go out on. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, totally.
if you're going to go out on a role, wow, what a role to go out on, because he's great as the judge, an amazing judge. He's honest, and the cops, even the cops, is like you know, naturally they feel they got the right guys, and they want the charges to stick, but they're not dishonest about it. And actually, even in the end, when Pesci asked them to go on a limb for him, and look something up, they do, and they rightfully come back with the correct answer, and which actually vindicates the two guys. So it's like I said, you're right. There's no real bad guys in this. Even the prosecutor is not really a bad guy. He's just a he wants to win his case. But yeah, there you go. There's the scene in the store where they're
Mhm.
walking through casually shopping for their trip, and of course, again, they're very naive. Why you would stick a can of tuna in your pocket? um, that when I saw him do that, I was like, "Don't do that," and I already knew the outcome. But I was like, "Don't. Why would you stick a can of tuna in your pocket?"
That being said, I've been shopping. I normally carry like a bike bag
Yeah,
with me. I've been shopping and had a bunch of stuff in my hands and thought, wouldn't it be convenient to put it in there?
yeah,
I've never done it. I've always had the peace of mind to say, oh, that would be bad.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's funny because there are like I've known plenty of people that I've gone shopping with that are very casual about how they shop, and I've seen, some people will start eating merchandise while they're walking through
Oh
us.
my God.
I know it bugs me when people start doing it. It's like
There is
fish.
etiquette.
Yeah. Well, I can believe me. I can name a couple of people that 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 have done that with me when I was with them, and it's like, don't do it, please. But yeah, you can't teach people manners, and to me, you pay for your stuff and keep it in, especially in today's day and age, keep the things in clear sight. So
Right.
there's no question that you're trying to, walk out of the store with something. But now this is one of the ongoing jokes there's so many ongoing jokes and so many things that make this funny. The very fact that he's coming down there dressed like that, like he's not walking around the streets of Jersey, and then of course Mona Lisa, she stands out in a crowd. So
Yeah, but
so
she's not the issue. She's not trying to be a participant in the court.
no, no, no. She does, and that's one of the things that actually, like, it was both heartwarming and also kind of really sweet about her character. She's just trying to help him, and she realizes he's struggling, and she's the nice, great girlfriend in the background that is just, she just wants to help him out, but she wants to participate, and of course he's handling something he's in way over his head, and he's not willing to admit it. But he's and again, a lot of the comedy stems from the fact that his nephew and his and nephew's friend are both looking at him like, are you sure, like, you're up for this? And he's like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And when
Well,
they
I mean, they're
realize,
they're being told that they're going to get the electric chair if
yeah,
they're convicted. So I
yeah.
mean, their life is on the line here.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there's so many bits of trivia about this tale. One of the bits of trivia is this place that they're in was a real prison
Hmm.
that they used. They used the actual prison in the area, and the scene when they're walking into the prison, and there's all those cat calls and people yelling. Those are
Hmm.
real prisoners.
Yep.
They were actually yelling to them, and they said they didn't even have to act that like they were intimidated walking in there, because they said it really put a mindset on them, because they were like, wow, we're really in a prison, and these guys are like right on the other side of these bars. So yeah, that was actually a great piece of trivia right there. But and of course there's the hilarious scene where Ralph Macchio, the nephew, is asleep on the top bunk, and in comes Joe Pesci to talk to them for the first time in their cell, and they've been, the other guy, the friend, has been saying, like, we're in a prison, like anything can happen to us in here, we can get shanked or raped or whatever, and in comes Joe Pesci, and the friend immediately thinks, oh my God, it's another prisoner. And he's looking at Joe Pesci, and Joe Pesci's doing the, well, we might as well get started right away. That was hilarious. I was cracking up laughing so hard, but it turns
So,
out he's trying to tell him, "Well, I'm your lawyer."
so I gotta say, like, one of the main strengths of this movie is that the director, Jonathan Lynn,
Yeah.
has a law degree from Pembroke College.
Yes. Yeah.
And so he was very adamant that the law be correctly portrayed in this movie. And so this movie is loved by lawyers.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it's number three, like in the bar thing, isn't it? Like the American Bar Association or something.
Oh, what is it? It's like I've got this pulled up. It's number, I want to say it's number 12.
Yeah. Well, I know it's ranked high. That's for sure.
Number 12. Pesci's character is ranked as number 12 on the list of the 25 greatest fictional lawyers who are not Atticus Finch.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. And Atticus, of course, from To Kill a Mockingbird.
And you're right. It is number 3 on the American Bar Association's journal list of the 25 greatest legal movies.
Wow. Wow. Cool. Very cool. Yeah. So that right there gives it credence.
But that scene where Pesci goes into their cell,
yeah,
was factually incorrect. The director said that would never have happened. That would have been conducted in an interview room.
Yes. Yeah.
But he found the scene so funny, he left it in.
Right. Well, I mean, it was funny because just the whole, it was so misconstrued that he was coming in there like a thug, and it was like, oh no, like they just let you guys in here, and of course Pesci is like, what's wrong with you? Like, I'm just trying to defend you, but he's not saying that. Everything he says makes it sound like he's coming in there to get him. But yeah, it's just hilarious. Great scene. And that actually is the interview room. They do end up in the interview room later, but yeah, he's trying to convince him, of course, yeah, I'm the guy to defend you. And of course they're like, well, how many cases have you tried? Well, none. So which again would be scary to have a lawyer. I mean, the difference between going to prison and not going to prison, the difference between maybe facing the chair and not facing the chair, or whatever, or just a life sentence. So much of it comes down to how good is your lawyer, and how much money can you throw at the case. If there's anything I can say about law and money disparity in this country, there is a reason why the rich a lot of times can go, not necessarily go free if they've committed the crime, but their chances, if they have, are much higher. If
their ability to navigate the law,
yeah,
is much higher.
Yes. So it's not, it's no sure thing, but it sure improves. It sure improves.
It's funny. One of the reasons that lawyers love this movie is because part of the comedy is based on trial procedure.
Yes.
And basically like Vinny's lack of knowledge of that. That's his biggest barrier.
Oh yeah. Well, that scene when he's trying to buddy up to the other lawyer and saying, because he's so used to hustling on the streets, and prior to being a lawyer, and he's telling Marisa, yeah, I'm gonna go out hunting with him, which is a hilarious scene because she's furious. He's gonna go hunting and hunt deer. She has a great dialogue.
Oh yeah, innocent deer.
Yeah, that was hilarious the way she delivered. There were so many things that she actually, that's her whole dialogue there around the deer. but which again delivered in her accent, and her delivery was just great. But no, and then he comes back and he's all happy. He's got boxes and boxes of evidence and yeah. And so he goes, look what I got, and she's like, well, they had to give that to you. That's part. And she's been sitting there reading, a legal book. So, and of course he's furious because it's like, don't make me look stupid. but she's great at helping him out. I mean, absolutely great at helping him out. Uh,
Mhm.
but again, so much of this is their chemistry together, the way they play off each other, and there's so many things. The culture part of it, the culture wars of, I mean, another thing that was hilarious to me was of course, every morning they get woken up before they're ready to, but just like going into the diner, the little breakfast place, and they've never had grits, and him asking like, "What's a grit?"
I
uh,
kind of find that hard to believe. I mean, like, you know, yeah, I'm sure he's very Italianized. It
right.
sounds like he's very much into his community, his culture, his neighborhood, but he lives, if not in New York, right near New York, one of the cultural centers of the world, that he has
Right.
never heard of grits
Yeah, but
seems
he's
odd to
very
me.
right, but he's very ethnic Italian, and I'll bet you anything he's probably lived in a very Italian community.
He's probably
And
eating polenta.
yeah,
It's
but
basically the
again,
same
well,
thing.
yeah, I know, but no, it's I mean, I think you'd probably find a lot of people in New York that have never tried grits and don't want to. And there it's actually it's one of those kind of things. I don't normally eat grits, but when I'm in the South, when I've been in the South, if I'm at a breakfast place, I usually will eat them, and they do complement other things. Like they complement eggs, they complement whatever they. It's almost a little bit like you're eating a lot of like Asian food where you got tofu in it, and it takes on the flavors of
Mhm, mhm.
grits is sort of like
No,
that.
I gotta say I don't eat many grits myself, but it's because you don't get a lot of good grits in Portland.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. But if you're in the South, again, you're probably more prone to, yeah, I'll have some grits to go along with that too, with those fried eggs. And that was hilarious when she's taking a picture of him eating the grits, and the whole thing with the camera. And he's so dismissive of her and the camera. And of course, that is actually one of the things that helps solve the case for him.
Well, I mean, it
Because
becomes Chekhov's gun
yes,
in
yeah,
this movie.
yes, yeah, absolutely. um, but yeah, I mean, again, talking about the whole now the one piece of trivia around that whole thing with the uh, cultural misunderstanding, like when he's saying to him, what is a Ute? uh, this scene here, where he
Yep.
says to him, just what is a Ute? And and he goes, "Excuse me, Your Honor, it's youths, the two youths," and that is something that actually was from real life because the director is British,
Yep.
and he was trying to talk to Joe Pesci, and he realized like, wow, I can't understand what you're saying, and Joe Pesci couldn't understand some of the things he was saying, and it was making them laugh, and they realized, wow, this is something that we can actually incorporate in the movie. So it's funny how certain things taken from life made this a better movie. But yeah, for sure. Uh, now
And
they,
I should mention that the guy that wrote this movie,
yeah.
Dale Launer, he also wrote Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Oh wow, really? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did not know
which
that.
is
That's
another great movie we are going to need to do at some point.
yes, absolutely. I love that movie actually. Yeah, that's a it's a very funny con man type movie, and
You love cons.
I do. Actually I really want to do more con man movies, and that is definitely one of the great ones I consider. So for sure. But yeah, that like I said, that whole thing with there were a few things with the judge. One was him not being able to understand him half the time, and of course, one of the other big things that was hilarious uh, with Joe Pesci and the the judge was how he kept coming into court with something that the judge did not consider to be proper attire, and and it's an ongoing joke because it keeps happening, and this is one of the outfits that he comes in, He goes, "Are you trying to mock?" Because he's saying to him, "You will show up in a suit," and and he actually does buy a suit, ends up in the mud, and he ends up renting or buying this used tux, and of course it does look like he's playing with them. it's a it's one of the kind of tux that you wouldn't even wear to a prom.
So one of the things I am going to put a link to in the
Sure.
comments when we post this is there's a YouTube channel run by a lawyer that does his take on different movies.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm going to link to his video on this.
Yeah,
But he says in that circumstance, he would have been better off wearing his mud caked suit
really.
than coming in with something like that, because
Oh,
that does seem like it's a joke.
yeah. Yeah, you're probably right because then he could have at least said, "Listen, I went down in the mud and trying to get my car out of the mud." It would have been better because it did look like a mock. Absolutely. I mean, I would have looked at it that way if I was the judge. Now, this is another scene that I thought was hilarious. Another ongoing laugh is he keeps giving, because the judge is asking him, "What's your criminal trial experience?" And that again,
Yeah,
that's a legit question because
right.
yeah, I mean,
This guy's from out of state. You normally need to be have a license from the state you're in practicing law.
and not only that, but he's to help his client, and this is where the judge is being honest because you shouldn't be representing somebody when you don't have trial experience, especially on a criminal case like this that's involving capital punishment crime. I mean, the judge was doing his, due job by diligence by questioning how many, and he's giving him fake names. And of course, this is a scene where he's he's actually looking over. It's like, oh no, that's not me. That's somebody else. And he keeps playing this game. Well, the chess set that is in front of Fred Gwynne, Joe Pesci by accident knocked over all the pieces, and they thought it was funny. So again, they decided to use that. This movie did a very good job of anytime a mistake was made, they incorporated it into the movie, and
Yeah,
it was
there were a
good.
lot of times
Yes,
that
yeah,
someone ad-libbed, made a mistake, and they're
yeah.
like, okay, that's staying in.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's again, you pointed out one or two yourself, and no, it's actually an ongoing funny thing that they kept doing with this movie. But I actually just put there we go. That's four of the stars right there. Austin Pendleton. It plays the lawyer that Stan is the guy that's on the left.
He
That's
plays the public defender.
yes, and he has another thing they probably wouldn't do nowadays because everything is
No.
so correct. But it was a very it was a very funny bit, and he starts to speak after he gets hired, and of course he has a bad stutter. So the guy sitting there like, oh no, because that is the kind of thing that for a jury, you don't want anything alienating your jury, and something like that can definitely alienate a jury because if there's something that they find annoying or boring or whatever it is, you can turn a jury off. And of course,
Mm.
he's doing it now. This guy, Austin Pendleton, um, he's a character actor, and I don't know how familiar you are with him. I recognized his face immediately, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's this guy!" And he has been in so many movies. Can you think of a few?
I
Just
cannot. I
uh,
like he looks vaguely familiar, but
yeah,
like I did not immediately recognize him.
yeah, I did, and I was trying to like right away. And he's the kind of character actor. It immediately starts making me go like, "Okay, where did I see this guy?" Um, this is one of the movies that he's in. He's playing Santa here. This is Christmas with the Cranks. I don't know if you've ever seen it
I have
before.
not.
but it's one of those kind of movies that it's it's both like good and bad. Dan Aykroyd's in it. There are certain things that I find.
Cheech Marin is in it.
Cheech, yeah, he's in it. Um, and that's Busey's brother. I can't think of his name. And on the far right, there and there's a you can actually that whole cast right there behind it. Most of them are pretty well known actors or
Yep.
character
Yep.
actors. But there he is on the left, and he's playing a very oddball guy that keeps showing up, and no, and there no everybody's like, who is this guy? Like, why is he here? Because he shows up at the party, and he's actually playing Santa in the movie, like the real life
He
Santa.
regretted doing My Cousin Vinny.
Really, really.
Yeah, he actually did stutter in his teen years. It was a
Wow.
somewhat traumatic. He overcame it, became an
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
And so to relive it in this movie,
Oh wow, it's
he did
painful.
not enjoy.
Wow.
And
That's sad.
after this movie, it made it hard for him to get other roles because he was almost typecast
Oh,
as
well,
a
that's too bad.
stutterer.
Wow. Yeah, that's too bad. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
But I actually really like him. Every time I see him in a role, I'm like, all right, this guy, it's one of those, he's just one of those actors that I find both funny and he's got a very odd presence about himself. Like whenever he's in a movie, he always plays like an oddball character. He was that guy in Christmas with the Cranks. Um, but yeah, like I said,
I mean, he's very much a character actor. I mean, I love character actors,
the definition
but
of it.
but it's hard. They normally are such that they'll never be stars.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't see this person headlining a movie. They're
No.
this oddball, quirky, someone that's immediately recognizable.
Yeah. But I'll tell you something, Dom. When there are again, as a movie fan, when it comes to character actors, there's certain character actors that I love easily as much as I do major stars, maybe better. A guy like Slim Pickens is a good example.
Oh, totally.
I love Slim Pickens. He's made so many movies. I mean, the classic Kubrick one,
Dr. Strangelove.
Doctor Strangelove. He's so good in that. He's got the cowboy hat he's I'm taking this one in myself, and he's waving the cowboy and going Yahoo, and I mean he's great in that, and there's tons of movies. I could think of
at some point we might need to do an ode to character actors.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to do that
because they're awesome.
They are, and again, Slim Pickens, this guy here. I can just think of tons of different character actors that I dearly love. I mean, I'm not even going to be able to think of her name. Oh, Ruth Gordon. Ruth Gordon, and she's an actress in her own right. But she's also you could definitely classify her as a character actress. And Ruth Gordon, she was in, of course, Rosemary's Baby, but she was in all those, Any Which Way You Can, Every Which Way But Loose. She played. She's in 10. She's in so many different movies as a character actress.
Yeah, but I mean, she was also in Laugh-In. I mean, she's a straight up comedian.
Yes, but definitely now there's a bad guy behind you, and that is a funny ongoing joke. Why don't you explain this guy?
Oh, okay. So this was awesome. So again, for those who have forgotten or haven't seen the movie, Vinny and fiance Mona Lisa go into a local bar, and she played pool
With that guy, yeah.
with this guy holding the wad of
And won. Yeah, the wad of bills there in his hand.
and won, and he refused to pay her.
Yeah.
And so Vinny, being the negotiator that he is,
yeah.
could not accept that. And so he talks to this guy about paying her what she won.
And of course, the guy wants to fight him.
Vinny, let's face it, Joe Pesci is 5'4".
Yep. Yeah.
You know, he is not an overly imposing guy. He's got the personality. Physically, he's not overly imposing. I don't know how tall this guy is, but I would guess he's 6'1",
Yeah. Yeah.
somewhere in there, and probably has a
Yeah,
few
that's probably
pounds
about right. Yep.
on Joe Pesci. And so yeah, he thought that intimidation and violence was the way to go, not knowing Vinny.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the whole negotiation scene that ensues, because this guy thinks it's going to be a straight up brawl.
oh yeah. Yeah.
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Vinny turns it into a verbal negotiation,
Yeah.
and this guy
Yeah.
is totally taken off balance.
The first part of the negotiation where he says, "So do you have the money on you?" And then the guy's like, he goes, "Well, no, not right now." And he goes, "Well, I'll fight you when you get it." And it just keeps going on. But that scene behind you have behind you, that is when he shows up with the
With the money.
yeah, he's got the well, he actually was that when he had the money, or was that the bogus roll? Because he said that's
Oh,
not a
you're right. That was
because-
the bogus roll.
yeah, he goes, "Well, yeah, that's not a roll of ones wrapped around with a 20 wrapped around it, is it?" And the guy's like, damn it. So again, so damn funny. It's these ongoing bits made the movie. There's the pacing in this movie is about perfect. It really is. Every little thing that you can think of with this movie, with the pacing, is beautiful. Now, this scene here, this was a scene that they almost did not include.
Really?
Yes, I was reading an article on this, and the director actually didn't like it, and Marissa actually objected to it because she said, "Well, this woman is an otherwise strong woman. Why would she?" Because this is the scene where she starts pushing him about their relationship and how the trial isn't going well, and are we ever going to get married? And because you said after you win your first case that we'll get married, and she goes, and then she starts to think about, and my biological clock is ticking, and she stamps her foot. So, but the director had the idea of like, no, he goes, it's one of those, like, he thought it was a cookie cutter scene that was like, this could be in any movie, and I don't want to just put a scene in. But when they tried the scene, it was funny enough that, especially with Joe Pesci's, "Can you put any more shit on me?" As if I don't have enough pressure. And then she does the, well, maybe it was a bad time to bring it up. So it's a funny scene. And again, I don't think it made her look weak because of it, or at all. If anything, she's a very strong woman. And
I do have to mention that I did not get any chemistry between the two of them.
oh man, I did. I thought they were.
Individually, they were amazing in their roles.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this movie with anyone else.
Right.
But them as a couple, I was not feeling it.
Oh, I see. I actually thought they were a very cute couple together. And I'll tell you one of the scenes that I can think of offhand. And again, she made the scene. A lot of other actresses couldn't have pulled it off. The scene where he's sitting in bed, he's going over the court things, and she comes out of the bathroom, sits down on the bed, and he's going, "Is that the faucet dripping?" And he's in a bad mood, and he's trying to take it out on her. And he's basically just like really nagging her about the dripping faucet. And so she goes, "Yeah, it drips." And he says, like, "Did you turn it off?" And she goes, "Yeah, I turned it off." And then of course they go through this long dialogue of, and it's cute, it's funny, it's sexy, and
It's well written. It's perfectly executed.
yeah,
I found it absolutely without chemistry.
man, I thought, and again,
Great
maybe
scene.
it's her. Yeah,
Completely works. They are both amazing.
yeah,
Do not get a connection.
yeah. Well, again, like I said, I did, but I so much of it is her. I'm not so sure. Can you think of a movie offhand? Here's a question for you. Offhand, can you think of a movie where Joe Pesci really had chemistry with a female actress.
No,
No, I can't either. But
no, I can't.
maybe the closest, and it's her. She is so good. She had so much fire in her, such great delivery. Every line she ripped the lines, and she really she made that character. She made the movie. The movie
Oh,
would
she really
not.
did.
Yeah, that movie would not have been the same without Marissa. She's just absolutely fantastic. Now, have you heard about the Oscar controversy around her?
I did not.
Because she won Best Supporting Actress, and this is going to be forever blamed on Jack Palance. He was older. He was having trouble reading the little reader up there. He couldn't see it or whatever the deal, or he just wasn't into it. And I think he kind of like walked away. It's been so many years since I saw the thing happen, but everybody thought that he read the wrong actress. And there were all these people saying she didn't deserve it. She was young. She was an up and coming actress.
He was
Um,
27.
well, she was fairly new for movies, like for especially a big role like this and an Academy Award. For years, she's had to fight this down, where people said that it was a mistake and that it was written. There were even people saying she slept with somebody to get the Oscar.
Good God.
I mean, yeah, it's been a real. I mean, that's harsh. The girl deserved it. She
And
absolutely deserved it.
I gotta say, I'll be the first to admit, I do not watch the Oscars. I have never cared at all about any of these award things.
I used to love the Oscars. They've gotten so political. They've gotten so tight that I'm at the point now with the Oscars that I have to almost force myself to watch the Oscars. But
I've never watched the Oscars.
yeah,
I like what I like.
yeah,
And
yeah.
these award things are not going to
Oh yeah,
improve
yeah,
anything in my life.
yeah. You're right. They don't meet, and a lot of there's plenty of actors and actresses that have had that opinion over the years that it's like, what's an award? Why do I need an award for?
Right.
But there are people that really want that award. There's
It's
people that are,
always nice to be appreciated and
yeah,
recognized. I get that.
yeah. But and now again, another hilarious thing that was in this movie, involving her, of course, was her whole thing about wanting to help him out, and he's totally dismissing her. Saying, just like, leave me alone. This is hard enough to figure out, and of course they end up getting angry with each other over it, and then when he actually looks at the photos that she's taken, he suddenly realizes, oh my God, she's right, and I really need her. And so he ends up having to call a recess because he needs her to testify. And the whole thing involves one of the big things that got his clients off is the posy rear end on the car that
Pause
was
attraction.
Yep, and good old pause attraction. It was a great thing in its time, and it kept both wheels in a line. When you would take off, both those wheels are going to turn exactly at the same time, and her picture proved it. So he had to call her in, not only to prove that it was her picture, but also to testify that there was only a few cars that possibly could have been from that year. And I think actually there was some trivia person that said, "Oh, there's actually another car that it could have been," but it doesn't matter because the car they were driving was not that car.
I gotta say that scene where he is questioning her on the stand
Yes,
at the end there,
yeah,
that is a perfect scene
it really is. It on so many levels,
on
and
so many levels.
yeah, it's. I mean, she's so angry with him, and like he's saying, I just want to put down that she's a hostile witness, and then and of course and she goes, "Oh, you think I'm hostile now? When do you see me tonight?" And the judge goes, "Do you two have some kind of a?" And so,
But not just that, like at some point during that scene, they cut to the opposing attorney, the prosecution,
yeah,
and he's like talking to his expert witness. He's like, "Is that right?"
yeah, and the FBI, yeah, there was an FBI retired FBI agent, and he's like, "Yeah, she's dead on." So, yeah, again, so darn funny. Um, the whole movie, just works, and again, it's about a perfect movie as far as I'm concerned,
Mhm.
as you can get certainly a perfect comedy, and like even right to the end when they're having to drive off because the the judge is like still thinking that he's somebody different, and she's having to drive him out of there. And that's another hilarious scene when they're driving off together, and he's like, "Well, I didn't solve the whole case on my own." And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Well," she goes, "So what happens? You become a very successful attorney, but you have to have a little bit of help." And she goes, "Is that so bad?" And it's like, "No, it's not." And but yeah, like again, great movie. I thought I definitely I do disagree with you on the chemistry, but I think she made the chemistry.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, it's a good point. If anyone can think of a movie where Joe Pesci had chemistry with another,
Oh yeah, please let us know
yeah,
because
leave it in
I
the
can't.
comments. Like other than her, what other, what other? But again, I give it all up to her too. I mean, Joe Pesci's fantastic in this. So many people are, but
He
without
just
her,
got done filming Goodfellas.
oh man, really? That's
Yeah,
amazing. Wow, that's amazing. I'm so glad he took the role because, I mean,
totally.
yeah, I mean, you think to yourself, well, geez, maybe he would have wanted to take a break, or maybe he would have thought like, well, I just got done with Scorsese. Why do I need to, film this one, a comedy? But thank God he did because perfect, perfect for for this role,
Good,
and
good enough that they were trying to do a sequel and they were trying to do a television show based on that. Both
wow.
fell through.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of glad
I'm very
they
glad they
did.
did.
Yeah,
This movie stands on its own.
it does, and it doesn't need a sequel. There's not, there's no way a sequel wouldn't have been as good. Everybody would, I don't think so anyway. I think
There,
people would
there is a book
really, oh,
published that is a sequel to this.
wow, wow. Yeah, I, again, I'm kind of glad it didn't happen. That's all I can say. Because, and again, Marissa Tomei for roles, um, that's her, on Seinfeld. Um,
Really?
yeah, she's been in so many different movies and TV shows. I believe she was actually in like The Young and the Restless or something.
So
Early
was a
days.
lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people, yeah. But yeah, and one movie, and I'd love to do this one that she's in is Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. Have you ever seen that?
I have not seen that.
Oh my God, we are definitely going to have to do that one because it's an amazing movie with a great cast, and she is in it, and she is so good in that movie. But it's about some brothers who commit a robbery on their parents, and
Ooh,
it goes horribly wrong. Um,
I don't see
and
how it couldn't.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, who would think that it would go good? But yeah. So anyway, that's the
Oddly enough, I will always currently think of her as Aunt May.
Aunt May. Aunt
Spider-Man.
Oh my God, yes, you're right. Holy crap, that's right. Wow, you're making me laugh about that one. That's yeah, hysterical. Uh, that's absolutely hilarious. But yes, uh, yeah, Peter Parker. No, but yeah, again, uh, that I don't think of her. I don't normally think of her as Aunt May, but yeah, you're right, Aunt May, Uncle Ben, and Aunt May.
I'm like, why are you casting sexy Aunt May now?
I know, really. Seriously. Yeah, because I mean, just the way they were drawn in the old Spider-Man comics, but they were always such a dowdy couple, you know. It's like,
Right.
and Uncle Ben was a great guy. Aunt May was this really sweet old lady that raised Peter Parker, but they always drew them like you know, they were the typical stereotype of the old aunt and uncle, you know, kind of thing or something. But yeah, Marissa is Aunt May. That, yeah. Ugh.
But anyway, to bring it back to My Cousin Vinny,
Yes.
I don't know if we can heap any more praise on this.
No, no, I think we both two thumbs up. I
Two
give it,
thumbs up
if I had
easily.
three thumbs, I would give it a third thumb. That's how much I liked
This is a movie that
it.
I would tell anyone, if you have not seen this movie and
Yeah.
you have a sense of humor,
Yes.
watch
Yeah.
this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. If you like comedies, this is a good one. I hope you have seen the movie if you've watched this, because I think we tore this movie apart so much that we probably exposed every funny, not
I don't
maybe
know.
every.
Like, I've seen this movie, I don't know how many times, and I
Yeah.
would enjoy seeing it again.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And
It's
believe
just
me,
so well done.
yeah, I would watch this. I would watch right now if someone was here that said, "Oh, I've never seen My Cousin Vinny," I'd say, "Well, we're putting it on."
Yep,
That's
totally,
how much I
totally.
like it. So yeah, truly good movie. One that I will revisit again. Actually, I probably just before we started, you said you hadn't seen it in what, 10 years?
Yeah, it's been at least 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's probably been almost that long for me, probably about the same amount of time. And I was laughing so hard during by myself watching the movie, which I normally don't laugh out loud by myself, um, unless I've had a lot of beers. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, I was sitting there, you know, really belly laughs, you know, thinking, "Wow, this is such a funny movie." I definitely don't want to let it go that long before I see it again. It's so good. If you haven't seen this movie, spoiler alert, highly recommends that you watch this movie. You must see the movie. It's great. It's a really, really good movie. We both agree on this.
No
Um,
argument.
no, no.
Dead solid, great movie.
Yeah, yep. I mean, it's a winner, and yeah, we're probably coming pretty much to a close, but listen, everyone, we thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe. We have to do the you know, thing that we have to do,
Yeah,
but
and I
please,
gotta say, we've been paying attention to our subscriber numbers, and wow, like, I appreciate anyone watching us.
yes, yeah, it's believe me, we're appreciative of the fact that you guys seem to be tuning in. You seem to be subscribing. You know, we love it. We love our fans. If you guys, please leave comments, suggestions, whatever. Hopefully they're kindly ones. uh, but but yeah, again, thank you guys for watching, and you know, please do suggest if you have them. We've got such a long list right now between suggestions and also ones that we keep coming up with ourselves. So
Oh my God, I've got so many movies in my head.
yeah, me too.
And next one's my choice.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, that's right. It is your choice, and we await that with bated breath. so so I guess for now we're gonna tell everybody thank you for watching, and uh, you
Yeah,
know,
happy movie watching.
yeah, tune in next time. Dom, it's been great, and
Always good.
yep, we will see each other next week. So thank you. And bye from Spoiler Alert.